Ladies and gentlemen, respect is not something you ask for, it is something you command. If you find yourself in situations where people disregard your worth, interrupt you, or treat you as if your presence doesn't matter, it's time to make a change. Because the way people treat you is a reflection of what you allow. Respect is not something you ask for, it is something you command. If you find yourself in situations where people disregard your worth, interrupt you, or treat you as if your presence doesn't matter, it's time to make a change. Because the way people treat you is a reflection of what you allow. If you want to make sure no one ever disrespects you again, you must start with the most important foundation of all, self-respect. Everything in life begins with how you see yourself. The way you perceive your own value dictates how others perceive you. If you walk into a room feeling unsure, hesitant, or unworthy, people can sense it. They may not be able to explain why, but they will treat you accordingly. You've probably seen this before. Two people enter a conversation, and one is immediately treated with authority and respect, while the other is brushed aside. Why? Because the first person walks with certainty, and the second hesitates. People take their cues from you. If you don't demand respect through your presence, you will struggle to receive it. Self-respect means understanding that you are valuable regardless of external validation. Too many people base their worth on what others think of them. If someone praises them, they feel good. If someone ignores them, they feel invisible. But true self-respect is not determined by the opinions of others. It comes from within. When you truly respect yourself, you do not need approval to feel worthy. You do not require compliments to feel confident. You walk into any room knowing that your presence alone is enough. This internal certainty creates an energy that others recognize. People respect those who do not seek validation because confidence is attractive and insecurity is easy to manipulate. Think about the way a leader walks into a room. They don't fidget, they don't look around for approval, and they don't hesitate. They carry themselves with assurance. They speak in a way that commands attention. They do not beg to be heard. They assume their voice matters. And because of that, others listen. This is what self-respect does. It influences how the world responds to you. When you carry yourself with dignity, people notice. They may not always like you, but they will respect you. One of the biggest signs of self-respect is how you react to disrespect. A person who truly values themselves does not tolerate mistreatment. They do not allow others to talk down to them, to undermine their presence, or to belittle them, but they also do not overreact. When you respect yourself, you do not need to raise your voice or argue to prove your worth. Your actions speak louder than words. You simply remove yourself from environments that do not honor your value. You do not waste time explaining why you deserve respect. You demonstrate it through the standards you uphold. Some people will test you. They will say things to provoke you, to see how far they can push your boundaries. If you respond with insecurity, they will push further. If you tolerate small levels of disrespect, it will grow over time. But if you shut it down immediately, calmly, and firmly, they will realize that you are not someone who can be easily walked over. When someone speaks to you in a way that is disrespectful, you have a choice. You can either let it slide, hoping they will change, or you can address it in the moment. A simple phrase like, "I don't allow people to speak to me that way," is often enough. If they continue, you walk away. You do not engage in their game. You do not let their words affect your self-worth. Because a person with true self-respect does not entertain disrespect, they rise above it. Self-respect is also about how you treat yourself. If you constantly criticize yourself, if you allow negative thoughts to control your mind, you are teaching yourself that you are not worthy of kindness. How can you expect others to respect you when you do not respect yourself? Every time you speak poorly about yourself, every time you doubt your abilities, you reinforce the idea that you are not valuable. But when you practice self-love, when you remind yourself daily that you are worthy, you start to rewire your mind. You begin to act differently. You start making choices that reflect your worth. You stop settling for friendships that drain you. You stop engaging in conversations that bring you down. You stop allowing people to take advantage of your kindness. A person with high self-respect does not seek revenge when disrespected. They move on. They do not waste their energy trying to prove their worth to those who fail to see it. They do not chase after people who treat them poorly. Instead, they focus on their growth, their success, and their happiness. They understand that the best response to disrespect is not retaliation. When you carry yourself with confidence, when you hold yourself to high standards, when you refuse to allow disrespect into your life, people take notice. They realize that mistreating you comes with consequences, not because you fight back, but because you are not available for that kind of behavior. In the end, respect is not demanded. It is not forced. It is not begged for. It is earned through the way you see yourself, the way you carry yourself, and the way you allow others to treat you. When you master self-respect, disrespect from others loses its power. Because at that point, it no longer matters who respects you. What matters is that you respect yourself. And when you do, the world has no choice but to follow. One of the biggest reasons people get disrespected is because they fail to set clear boundaries. Many people struggle with this because they fear conflict, rejection, or upsetting others. But the truth is, if you don't establish firm boundaries, you are inviting disrespect into your life. People will only treat you the way you allow them to. If you tolerate being spoken to in a dismissive tone, you will continue to be treated that way. If you let people invade your personal space, take advantage of your kindness, or manipulate you emotionally, it will keep happening. Boundaries are not just about keeping others in check. They are about protecting your self-worth and peace of mind. Boundaries communicate your expectations without the need for constant confrontation. They let people know what is acceptable and what is not, without you having to explain yourself repeatedly. When you have strong boundaries, you don't need to argue or fight for respect. Your energy and presence alone make it clear what you will and will not tolerate. Setting boundaries starts with knowing what you stand for. What behaviors will you accept? What treatment will you not tolerate? When you are clear about these things within yourself, enforcing them becomes natural. A major reason why people hesitate to set boundaries is because they fear losing relationships. They worry that if they speak up, people will distance themselves. And sometimes that is exactly what happens. But here's the reality. Anyone who gets upset when you set a boundary was benefiting from you having none. The right people will respect your limits. The wrong people will test them. And the moment you start enforcing boundaries, you will quickly see who truly values you and who only valued what they could get from you. It's important to remember that setting boundaries does not mean being rude or aggressive. It simply means being firm and direct. If someone constantly interrupts you when you're speaking, instead of staying silent and feeling disrespected, say, "I wasn't finished speaking." If a friend or coworker consistently oversteps by asking for favors without reciprocating, let them know, "I can't help with that right now." If someone speaks to you in a way that feels condescending, you don't have to engage emotionally. A calm but assertive response like, "I don't appreciate being spoken to that way," is often enough to establish that you won't tolerate disrespect. Silence is often mistaken for acceptance. If you allow things to go unchecked, people will assume you are okay with how they treat you. Many people who experience ongoing disrespect say things like, "I don't want to cause a scene," or "It's not a big deal." But every time you let something slide, you are reinforcing the behavior. You are teaching the other person that there are no consequences for treating you poorly. On the other hand, the moment you stand up for yourself, you change the dynamic of the relationship. Boundaries also apply to emotional and mental space. People who frequently drain your energy with negativity, manipulation, or unnecessary drama do not deserve unlimited access to you. Just because someone wants to unload their problems on you doesn't mean you have to absorb them. Just because someone is in a bad mood doesn't mean you have to let it affect yours. When you start protecting your emotional energy, you begin to notice a shift in how people treat you. They realize that you are not easily swayed, that your peace of mind is a priority, and that you will not allow yourself to be pulled into unnecessary emotional turmoil. There is a difference between being kind and being a pushover. Many people mistake kindness for weakness. They assume that if you are polite, forgiving, or accommodating, you are someone they can take advantage of. This is why it's crucial to pair kindness with firm boundaries. You can be a good person and still refuse to tolerate disrespect. You can be compassionate while making it clear that your time, energy, and presence are valuable. Another aspect of setting boundaries is enforcing them consistently. If you let people cross your boundaries once, they will assume they can do it again. And if you enforce them sometimes but not always, people will test you to see when you are willing to bend. Consistency is key. If you say you won't tolerate certain behavior, but then allow it under pressure, you are teaching people that your words don't carry weight. Some people will try to guilt trip you when you start enforcing boundaries. They will say you have changed, that you are being difficult, or that you are not as nice as you used to be. But understand this, protecting yourself is not being difficult. Prioritizing your well-being is not selfish. Those who truly respect you will adjust. Those who don't were never truly in your corner to begin with. Setting boundaries also means setting standards for yourself. If you want people to respect your time, do you respect your own time? If you want people to value your efforts, do you value your own work? If you constantly overextend yourself, take on too much, or say yes when you mean no, you are sending a message that your time and energy are not valuable. The more you respect yourself, the easier it becomes to demand respect from others. A person with strong boundaries is not easily manipulated. They do not fall for guilt trips, emotional blackmail, or unnecessary obligations. They are clear about what they will and will not do. They do not feel pressured to explain themselves when they say no. They do not sacrifice their well-being for the sake of keeping others comfortable. And because of this, they earn respect without having to fight for it. Boundaries are not about controlling others. They are about defining how you expect to be treated and ensuring that you do not tolerate anything less. The people who truly value you will respect your boundaries without hesitation. The ones who push back were never meant to be in your life in the first place. When you stand firm in your standards, when you make it clear what you will and will not accept, you will never have to demand respect. It will come naturally. Confidence is one of the most powerful tools you can possess if you want to command respect and prevent people from ever disrespecting you. The way you carry yourself, the way you speak, and the way you respond to situations all play a significant role in how others treat you. When you walk into a room with confidence, people notice. When you speak with certainty, people listen. And when you hold your ground without hesitation, people learn that you are not someone to be taken lightly. Confidence is not about arrogance or trying to prove yourself to others. It is about knowing your worth and never allowing anyone to diminish it. When you believe in yourself, you naturally command a presence that demands respect. You don't have to beg for it. You don't have to fight for it. It simply becomes a byproduct of how you carry yourself. People are drawn to confidence, and more importantly, they are hesitant to disrespect someone who exudes it. Your body language plays a crucial role in how confident you appear. When you stand tall with your shoulders back and your head held high, you immediately signal to others that you are secure in yourself. Slouching, avoiding eye contact, or speaking in a hesitant tone can make you seem unsure, which some people may interpret as weakness. The way you present yourself communicates just as much as your words, if not more. If you want people to respect you, make sure your posture, gestures, and tone reflect someone who respects themselves. Speaking with authority is another key aspect of confidence. When you speak, do so with clarity and conviction. Avoid excessive filler words, unnecessary apologies, or a questioning tone that makes it seem like you are unsure of what you're saying. Confident people state their thoughts directly. They don't feel the need to over-explain themselves, and they don't seek validation in every conversation. When you speak as though your words matter, people will treat them as such. One of the biggest mistakes people make is allowing disrespect to slide because they don't want to cause tension. They assume that if they ignore it, it will go away. But the truth is, when you let disrespect go unchecked, you are training people to continue treating you that way. A confident person does not allow disrespect to linger. They address it immediately, not through aggression, but through firm and controlled responses. If someone interrupts you constantly, You don't let it slide. You say, I wasn't finished speaking. If someone talks down to you, you don't just shrug it off. You let them know, I don't appreciate being spoken to that way. A calm yet direct response is often all it takes to establish that you are not someone to be walked over. Confidence also means being comfortable with silence. Many people feel the need to fill every pause in a conversation because they fear awkwardness or discomfort. But true confidence is knowing that silence is powerful. When you make a statement, let it sit. When someone challenges you, don't feel pressured to react immediately. Take your time. When you are at ease with silence, it shows that you are in control, and people will take your words more seriously. Another crucial aspect of confidence is not seeking approval from others. People who constantly look for validation are more likely to be taken advantage of or disrespected. When you rely on others to feel worthy, you give them the power to dictate your value. But when you are internally secure, you don't need anyone's approval to know your worth. You don't change your opinions to fit in. You don't compromise your standards to please others. And because of that, people learn to respect you for who you truly are. Handling criticism with confidence is also essential. When you are confident, you don't let negative comments shake you. You don't feel the need to defend yourself against every opinion. You don't react emotionally to every critique. Instead, you assess whether the feedback is constructive, and if it isn't, you let it roll off your back. People quickly learn that trying to belittle you won't work because you are too secure to be affected by their negativity. Confidence also involves being selective with your words. People who talk excessively without saying much often lose credibility. But when you speak only when necessary and with purpose, your words carry more weight. Confident people don't feel the need to prove themselves with excessive talking. They listen more than they speak, and when they do speak, people pay attention because they know it matters. One of the most underrated aspects of confidence is the ability to walk away when necessary. You don't need to engage in every battle. You don't need to prove yourself to people who don't respect you. Sometimes the most powerful move you can make is to remove yourself from situations that don't serve you. Confident people don't chase approval. They don't beg for respect. And they don't waste energy on those who refuse to acknowledge their value. They know that their time and energy are valuable, and they refuse to spend it on situations or people that diminish them. Confidence is built through action. You don't become confident by waiting for it to appear. You build it by consistently showing up for yourself, by facing challenges head on, by standing firm in your beliefs, and by refusing to let fear dictate your actions. Every time you set a boundary, every time you assert yourself, every time you refuse to tolerate disrespect, you reinforce your confidence. And when you do this consistently, people will recognize that you are someone who commands respect without having to demand it. Self-respect is the foundation of how others treat you. If you do not respect yourself, you cannot expect others to respect you. People take cues from how you carry yourself, how you speak, and how you allow others to treat you. If you tolerate disrespect, if you let people cross your boundaries without consequences, they will continue to do so. But when you hold yourself to a higher standard, when you refuse to accept anything less than respect, people will be forced to treat you accordingly. The first step to gaining respect from others is understanding your worth. Too many people allow themselves to be treated poorly because they do not truly believe they deserve better. They settle for friendships that drain them, relationships that devalue them, and environments that diminish their confidence. If you want to be respected, you must first believe that you are worthy of respect. This means valuing your time, your energy, and your presence. It means not allowing anyone to take advantage of you or undermine your dignity. One of the strongest ways to command respect is by setting clear boundaries and enforcing them. People who lack boundaries are often mistreated because they do not make it clear where the line is drawn. When you allow people to get away with certain behaviors, they assume it is acceptable. But when you establish boundaries, whether in your personal life, your professional life, or your social interactions, you send a clear message that you will not tolerate disrespect. If someone constantly interrupts you, you calmly but firmly let them know that you expect to be heard. If someone makes a rude comment, you do not laugh it off or ignore it. You let them know that such behavior is unacceptable. Boundaries are not about being aggressive or confrontational. They are about having enough self-respect to walk away from situations that do not honor you. If someone continuously disregards your boundaries, you do not beg them to change. You remove yourself from their presence. People quickly learn that if they want to have access to you, they must treat you with respect. Another key to commanding respect is the way you communicate. People who speak with uncertainty, hesitation, or excessive politeness often struggle to be taken seriously. This does not mean you should be rude or disrespectful to others, but you must learn to communicate with confidence and assertiveness. When you speak, speak clearly and with conviction. Do not over-explain yourself. Do not seek validation in every statement. And do not apologize for having an opinion. Confident communication signals that you respect yourself, and in turn, others will respect you as well. A person who respects themselves also understands the power of silence. Not every comment needs a response, not every insult needs to be defended, and not every argument needs to be engaged in. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is say nothing at all. When people see that you are not easily rattled, that their words do not shake you, they realize that you are in control of yourself. Those who command respect do not react emotionally to every situation. They remain calm, composed, and in charge of their own emotions. Respect is also earned through consistency. If you want people to respect you, you must be consistent in your words and actions. If you set a boundary but then allow it to be broken repeatedly, people will not take you seriously. If you present yourself as confident but then allow yourself to be treated poorly, you send mixed signals. True self-respect is demonstrated through consistency, through showing up as the same strong, self-assured person in every situation. Self-respect also means being selective with the people you allow into your life. If you surround yourself with people who constantly belittle you, drain your energy, or take you for granted, it is a reflection of how you see yourself. People who respect themselves do not keep company with those who do not treat them well. They do not chase after friendships, relationships, or social circles where they are not valued. They understand that it is better to be alone than to be in the presence of people who do not appreciate them. A major part of gaining respect is mastering the art of emotional control. People who are easily provoked, who react impulsively, or who allow others to manipulate their emotions are often not taken seriously. When you are in control of your emotions, you become untouchable. No one can disrespect you if they realize that their words and actions do not have the power to shake you. Emotional discipline allows you to navigate difficult situations with grace, strength, and composure. Another important factor in earning respect is maintaining high standards. If you accept mediocrity in your life, others will assume you are comfortable with it. But when you demand excellence from yourself, whether in your work, your relationships, or your personal development, you show people that you have self-respect. Those who respect themselves do not settle for less than they deserve. They do not entertain toxic relationships. They do not allow themselves to be undervalued in the workplace. And they do not waste time on things that do not align with their goals. Respect is not something you demand. It is something you command through the way you live. When you respect yourself, when you hold yourself to high standards, when you establish firm boundaries, when you communicate with confidence, and when you control your emotions, people have no choice but to respect you. You teach people how to treat you by the way you treat yourself. Confidence is a powerful force that shapes the way people perceive and treat you. If you want to ensure that no one ever disrespects you, you must cultivate unshakable confidence in yourself. Confidence is not about arrogance or trying to prove something to others. It is about having an unbreakable belief in your own worth, abilities, and value. When you carry yourself with confidence, people naturally respect you because they sense that you respect yourself. They see that you do not need external validation to feel worthy, and that makes them treat you differently. The way you present yourself plays a crucial role in how others treat you. Confidence is communicated through body language, eye contact, and posture. When you walk into a room, do you shrink yourself avoid eye contact and move hesitantly? Or do you stand tall, make eye contact, and walk with purpose? People pick up on these subtle cues and respond accordingly. If you carry yourself like someone who deserves respect, people will respect you. If you carry yourself like someone who doubts their own worth, people will take advantage of that doubt. One of the most effective ways to build confidence is by mastering something valuable. Whether it is a skill, a craft, a career, or a mindset, being excellent at something gives you an inner strength that cannot be easily shaken. When you know you bring value to the table, you do not need to chase after respect. It naturally comes to you. People respect those who have something to offer, those who have worked on themselves, and those who carry themselves with an air of certainty. Confidence is built through competence. If you feel unsure of yourself, invest time in improving your skills, expanding your knowledge, and becoming the best version of yourself. A confident person is not easily rattled by criticism or negativity. If you let every insult, rejection, or challenge shake you, you give away your power. People who seek to disrespect you often do so because they sense insecurity. They test you to see if they can break your composure. But when you are confident in yourself, their words and actions hold no weight. You do not react emotionally to every little thing. You do not feel the need to defend yourself against baseless criticism. You simply continue moving forward with unshakable self-belief. Confidence also means being unapologetically yourself. Too many people try to mold themselves into what they think others want them to be. They suppress their true personality, opinions, and desires in an attempt to fit in or avoid conflict. But when you do this, you signal to others that you are not secure in who you are. True confidence comes from embracing yourself fully, your strengths, your flaws, your unique qualities. When you own who you are without hesitation, people respect you because they see authenticity. They know you are not pretending or seeking approval. Another key aspect of confidence is learning to say no without guilt. Many people struggle with this because they fear disappointing others or being perceived as rude. But constantly saying yes to things you do not want to do just to please others is a sign of insecurity. A confident person knows their limits and is not afraid to set boundaries. They do not feel the need to explain themselves excessively or justify every decision. When you say no firmly and respectfully, people understand that you have self-respect and they begin to respect your time and energy as well. Confidence is also reflected in how you handle difficult situations. Life is full of challenges, setbacks, and moments of uncertainty. But the way you respond to these moments determines whether people respect you or not. A confident person does not crumble under pressure or complain about every obstacle. They approach problems with a solution-based mindset. They remain calm and composed, knowing that they have the ability to overcome anything that comes their way. This level of self-assurance makes people take you seriously. They see that you are someone who cannot be easily defeated, and that earns respect. One of the most powerful traits of a confident person is their ability to remain unaffected by the opinions of others. In today's world, people are constantly worried about what others think of them. They modify their behavior, suppress their ambitions, and hesitate to take risks because they fear judgment. But the truth is, no matter what you do, people will always have opinions. A truly confident person understands this and chooses to live on their own terms anyway. They do not let the fear of judgment dictate their choices. They understand that their worth is not determined by external approval. Confidence is not just about how you feel, it is about what you do. If you want to be respected, you must act in ways that demand respect. This means taking care of yourself, setting high standards, and refusing to tolerate anything less than what you deserve. It means speaking with conviction, making decisions without constantly second-guessing yourself, and carrying yourself with an aura of certainty. When you develop unshakable confidence, you reach a point where disrespect simply does not affect you. People may try to bring you down, but their attempts are powerless because you do not give them control over your emotions. They quickly realize that their efforts are wasted and they move on. The moment you stop seeking validation from others and fully trust yourself, you become untouchable. And when you are untouchable, people have no choice but to respect you. Self-respect is the foundation upon which all other forms of respect are built. If you do not respect yourself, you cannot expect others to respect you. Many people believe that respect is something that must be demanded or fought for, but the truth is, respect is a natural consequence of how you treat yourself. When you set high standards for yourself, when you value your time, and when you refuse to accept anything less than what you deserve, people will naturally recognize that you are not someone to be disrespected. One of the most powerful ways to establish self-respect is by setting firm boundaries. People who lack boundaries often find themselves in situations where they feel used, disrespected, or taken for granted. This happens because they allow others to dictate how they should be treated instead of setting clear expectations from the beginning. When you have strong boundaries, you communicate to others that there are lines that cannot be crossed. You make it clear that your time, energy, and emotions are valuable and that you will not tolerate disrespect in any form. The way you carry yourself plays a significant role in how people perceive and treat you. If you present yourself as someone who lacks confidence, who is unsure of themselves, or who constantly seeks approval from others, people will subconsciously pick up on that energy and treat you accordingly. On the other hand, when you walk with purpose, speak with certainty, and maintain strong eye contact, you exude self-respect. You signal to the world that you know your worth and that you expect to be treated with dignity. Respect is also earned through consistency. You cannot demand respect one day and then accept disrespect the next. If you allow people to treat you poorly without consequences, you send the message that you are okay with being disrespected. Consistency in how you enforce your boundaries, how you respond to negativity, and how you carry yourself is what ultimately determines whether people take you seriously or not. If you want people to respect you, you must show them through your actions that you respect yourself at all times, not just when it is convenient. Another important aspect of self-respect is learning to say no. Many people struggle with this because they fear rejection or conflict. They agree to things they do not want to do, allow others to take advantage of their kindness, and put themselves in uncomfortable situations just to please others. But when you constantly say yes out of fear, you sacrifice your self-respect in the process. Saying no is not about being rude or selfish. It is about valuing yourself enough to prioritize your own well-being. When you confidently say no to things that do not serve you, people recognize that you are not easily manipulated, and they begin to respect your time and choices. The way you respond to disrespect also determines how often you encounter it. If you react emotionally, lash out, or try to argue with people who disrespect you, you give them power over you. You show them that their words or actions have the ability to affect your state of mind. But when you handle disrespect with calmness and composure, you take away their power. People who thrive on disrespect and negativity seek reactions. They want to see you get upset. They want to make you feel small. But when you refuse to engage in their games and remain unfazed, they quickly realize that their efforts are wasted. Respect is not just about how others treat you. It is also about how you treat yourself. If you engage in negative self-talk, if you constantly put yourself down, or if you allow yourself to settle for less than what you deserve, you reinforce the idea that you are not worthy of respect. The way you speak to yourself matters. If you tell yourself that you are not good enough, that you are unworthy, or that you do not deserve better, you will subconsciously allow others to treat you in a way that aligns with that belief. On the other hand, if you affirm your worth, remind yourself of your value, and hold yourself to high standards, people will recognize that you are someone who commands respect. The relationships you choose to maintain also play a significant role in how much respect you receive. If you surround yourself with people who do not respect you, who constantly bring you down, or who take advantage of your kindness, it becomes difficult to expect respect from the world. The company you keep is a reflection of your own self-respect. If you tolerate toxic relationships, you send a message that you are willing to accept disrespect. But when you surround yourself with people who uplift you, who respect your boundaries, and who appreciate your value, it becomes easier to maintain self-respect. Respect is also tied to the way you handle adversity. Life will test you, people will challenge you, and there will be moments where you feel tempted to lower your standards, just to avoid conflict or discomfort. But true self-respect means standing firm even in difficult situations. It means not compromising your values just to fit in. It means not allowing temporary emotions to dictate your actions. When you handle adversity with grace and strength, people recognize that you are not someone who can be easily shaken. They see that you stand for something, and that naturally earns respect. Ultimately, the key to ensuring that no one ever disrespects you is to first cultivate deep, unwavering respect for yourself. When you value yourself, when you believe in your worth, and when you set high standards, people have no choice but to respect you. You do not need to demand it, chase it, or fight for it. It will be given to you naturally because you have already given it to yourself. Your words and actions set the tone for how others treat you. If you carry yourself with confidence, speak with clarity, and act with conviction, people will naturally respect you. On the other hand, if you are unsure of yourself, hesitant in your decisions, or overly accommodating to others at your own expense, you invite disrespect. The way you present yourself communicates to the world how you expect to be treated, and it is essential to project an image that demands respect without ever needing to ask for it. One of the biggest reasons people get disrespected is because they allow it. They let small instances of disrespect slide, thinking it is not a big deal, but over time, these minor infractions turn into a pattern. The truth is, the moment you let someone disrespect you without addressing it, you have taught them that they can get away with it. People treat you based on what you tolerate. If you accept disrespect once, it will happen again. The key is to address it immediately and firmly, not in a reactive or emotional way, but with assertiveness that makes it clear that you will not allow it. Your energy is another powerful factor in how people perceive and treat you. If you walk into a room with your head down, avoiding eye contact and speaking softly as if you are unsure of yourself, people subconsciously pick up on that and may not take you seriously. But if you walk with confidence, maintain strong eye contact, and speak with authority, people will naturally show you respect. This does not mean you have to be aggressive or dominant. It simply means you must carry yourself in a way that exudes self-respect. Confidence is silent. It does not need to prove itself, but it is always recognized. Another crucial aspect of commanding respect is being selective with your words. The way you speak about yourself and to others determines how people view you. If you constantly downplay your abilities, apologize excessively, or speak in a way that undermines your own value, people will believe it. Conversely, if you speak with certainty, express yourself clearly, and avoid unnecessary self-deprecation, people will see you as someone who knows their worth. Words are powerful, and the more you speak with conviction, the more people will respect you. Your actions must also align with your words. If you say you have boundaries but allow people to walk all over you, your words lose their power. If you demand respect but do not respect yourself, people will not take you seriously. Consistency is key. Your behavior must reflect the standards you set for yourself. If you expect to be treated with respect, then you must show up in every aspect of your life in a way that commands it. That means making decisions that align with your values, not engaging in behaviors that diminish your self-worth, and never settling for less than you deserve. Respect is not just about how you interact with others. It is also about how you treat yourself. People mirror the way you treat yourself. If you prioritize self-care, take pride in your appearance, and hold yourself to high standards, others will take note and treat you accordingly. But if you neglect yourself, tolerate toxic relationships, and accept mediocrity, people will assume it is acceptable to treat you the same way. Self-respect is the foundation for external respect, and it starts with how you value yourself in your daily life. One of the fastest ways to lose respect is by engaging in unnecessary arguments or trying to prove your worth to those who do not appreciate it. People who are truly confident in themselves do not waste time trying to convince others of their value. They know their worth, and they do not need validation from anyone. When you argue with people who disrespect you, you are giving them attention and power. Instead of engaging, simply walk away and let your success and confidence speak for themselves. People will notice, and they will learn that you are not someone who can be easily drawn into negativity. Another way to ensure that no one disrespects you is by surrounding yourself with people who uplift and support you. The company you keep has a significant impact on how you are treated. If you surround yourself with people who constantly put you down, make you feel small, or take advantage of you, it becomes difficult to maintain self-respect. But when you choose to be around people who encourage you, respect your boundaries, and see your value, it reinforces the way you see yourself. You cannot expect others to respect you if you willingly allow toxic people into your life. Your mindset plays a significant role in how others perceive you. If you have a scarcity mindset, constantly afraid of losing people or opportunities, you may tolerate disrespect just to keep them in your life. But when you have an abundance mindset, you realize that you do not need to accept anything less than what you deserve. You understand that losing someone who disrespects you is not a loss, but a gain in self-respect. This shift in thinking allows you to walk away from situations that do not serve you and move toward those that align with your worth. At the core of respect is self-discipline. People respect those who are disciplined, who have control over their emotions, and who do not let external circumstances dictate their actions. If you react impulsively, let your emotions control you, or seek validation from others, people will see you as someone who can be manipulated. But if you are composed, focused, and unwavering in your standards, people will respect you without you ever having to ask for it. Discipline in your thoughts, actions, and decisions is what separates those who are respected from those who are not. Ultimately, respect is not something you ask for, it is something you embody. It is not about demanding respect from others, but about demonstrating it through the way you carry yourself, the standards you set, and the way you treat yourself. When you prioritize self-respect, establish firm boundaries, and refuse to accept anything less than what you deserve, people have no choice but to respect you. It is not about being harsh or unapproachable. It is about valuing yourself so deeply that others naturally follow your lead. Respect begins with you, and when you own your worth, the world will acknowledge it. Respect is not something you demand, it is something you cultivate through the way you carry yourself, the standards you uphold, and the way you treat yourself. When you set firm boundaries, refuse to tolerate disrespect, and project confidence in your actions and words, people will naturally respect you. It all starts with self-respect. The way you value yourself determines how others perceive and treat you. By maintaining discipline, surrounding yourself with the right people, and walking away from those who do not appreciate your worth, you send a clear message that you will not accept anything less than respect. The key is to be unwavering in your self-worth, unshaken by negativity, and focused on building a life that aligns with your value. When you embody respect, the world has no choice but to reflect it back to you.